There is a disturbing development creeping up in Ghana, and every well-meaning Ghanaian will have to sit up and grant me your attention for just a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. A man born in Nigeria who settled in Ghana some decades ago and over time became well-respected leader among his tribesmen has now set up a kingdom for himself in our country, ladies and gentlemen. He is an Igbo man bearing the title Eze Chukudi Ihenetu. I hope I'm saying it right. He has the title Eze Indi Igbo Ghana, which translates King of Igbo people in Ghana. His tribesmen in Ghana crowned him this position and the title in 2012. And these are his images, ladies and gentlemen. A very fine gentleman whom we are told is married to a Ghanaian. And as a typical Ghanaian, ladies and gentlemen, I have no problem with that at all. But many people, including myself, will have a problem with anyone or any situation that has the potential to undermine our sovereignty as a republic. What has made our country livable for all people for many years is our hospitality towards one another and to foreigners, ladies and gentlemen, and that cannot be circumvented by any external tribe nor group of people. Ghana has a common chieftaincy practice of installing foreigners as development chiefs for the purpose of providing value to our local communities. This is a typical thing in Ghana, and hence I thought what this man and his tribesmen were doing was something in line of that, until, ladies and gentlemen, I read from an internet publication that they, and I mean the Igbo people, or he as a king in Ghana, has acquired acres of lands to build an Igbo town and establish an Igbo kingdom within Ghana. This is where I became disturbed, even though I'm yet to see any substantive evidence for this acquisition. That would be totally unacceptable, ladies and gentlemen. Fellow Ghanaians, I want to believe this is a falsified story, but if not, this is not something we should entertain or allow to continue. Ghana is a sovereign country alongside our kings and our chiefs. They are called kings and chiefs for historical reasons. They have fought and protected their lands and been the source of the unity of our people till this modern era. It is not a title given out of charity, ladies and gentlemen. There is a meaning and a story behind every stool or throne in Ghana. There is a story behind every stool, land, and family lineage that authenticates the royalty of our kings and chiefs. These institutions are not to be toyed with nor replicated in any shape or form, ladies and gentlemen. People have fought and died in the protection of their clans and tribes and lands in Ghana. It used to be our system of governance before the colonizers came in, and therefore should be respected whether by foreigners or locals, ladies and gentlemen. What is happening with this self-acclaimed king of Igbos in Ghana, if true, will be a direct infringement on our chieftaincy structure and the sovereignty of our country as a whole. This cannot happen in any other region outside of Accra, and even in Nigeria. Can this even happen in Ashanti region, ladies and gentlemen, or any of the northern regions? In fact, this shouldn't happen in any other country, and shouldn't happen for that matter in Ghana. The Igbo people of Biafra need a king and true leadership in these times of struggle for an Igbo nation. That cannot be done in a strange land. What this man is trying to do in Ghana will undermine his own people's effort for freedom from Nigeria, and I don't think his intention is to create a kingdom here in Ghana and move his people along. If he indeed has the resources and the know-how to lead his people, this is the time to stand up strong for your people in Abia and Anambra and Ebonyi and Enugu and in Imo states in Nigeria. Biafra is at crossroads with the federal government of Nigeria, and we as Ghanaians don't want to meddle in that. To be crowned a king is not simply by an election. It must be tied to the lineage of your family, the land of your tribe or family, the historical achievements or significance of your family name in relation to the community you lead, ladies and gentlemen. You don't just blip on the radar in a community that has its own leadership structure and annex your throne to theirs, ladies and gentlemen. That is not how it's done, and doesn't make you a king nor a leader. And one reason we have to make this topical is because of how politicians relate with them. During the times of the formal government or the president, this man was seen, invited, and associated with the leadership of our country. And before the elections were held last year, he paid a visit to our current president. This is what he has used to gain for himself the popularity and the needed attention, ladies and gentlemen. But that's definitely not what Ghana needs at this time. We are not in need of more kings and chiefs, ladies and gentlemen. We have a diplomatic relationship with Nigeria, and that should be observed. The idea of our immigration officers inviting him and working with him is not going to be a healthy thing for Ghana and Nigeria's relationship in the long run. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to pay attention to all these. Nigeria has a high commissioner in Ghana. He is the representation of Nigerian government in Ghana. He is the one to be consulted or engaged on whatever the issues may be. Ladies and gentlemen, we the people of Ghana must be vigilant with the happenings in our country. We have come a long way with our differences, and that shouldn't be undermined under any circumstance. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome people from every part of Africa and the world to our country because that is who we are as a people. We are inherently peaceful people who just want to go about our business and live in peace with all men. We have what many African countries never had. We are one of the few African countries that has never experienced a civil war since independence, and we've had a stable democracy in the last 33 years. We have successfully seen the transition of political powers in that time frame, ladies and gentlemen, and we cannot be naive of the threats to these achievements. There is absolutely no need nor room for an Igbo king of Ghana or Yoruba king of Ghana or any sort of king on our land. How does it even work, ladies and gentlemen? Does it mean we will have to resort to him when an Igbo person is at loggerheads with our laws or not? That cannot be, because no Nigerian travels to Ghana or to any country on a passport issued by an Igbo state. It is Nigeria we deal with and should remain so until there is a country called Igbo. Nigeria is a friend and a strategic partner of Ghana, and that is how far it should go. A similar thing was happening in the Adan area in the Greater Accra region when a group of Lebanese people bought lands and wanted to build a Lebanese community that will prohibit Ghanaians from accessing, ladies and gentlemen. They likewise wanted a town and a system for themselves within Ghana. Could that ever happen in Lebanon or in Nigeria for Ghanaians under any circumstance? Ladies and gentlemen, let's be guided and not be naive. What then becomes of our originality should that happen on our soil? It is true that historically the Ghana tribe originated from an Igbo community in Nigeria, but those who actually migrated left for a reason and chose to stay and not return. They have since then installed their own kings and chiefs at this point and contributed significantly to our nation's building. The Ghana tribe in Ghana live a completely different reality from the Igbos in Nigeria. Don't let the few overlapping cultural similarities confuse you. They've moved on, and we should leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. Ghana has its own problems to deal with. Let everyone go and deal with their problems in their individual countries. Our chieftaincy problems are already a headache for us. We don't need more. And this is my message to the Igbo king in Ghana. Oga, we have welcomed you with an open arm and made your stay comfortable in Ghana. We have given you a home away from your home, something that should be respected. Don't start anything that will ruin this situation. I'm told you are a generous man who has helped many of our people in the community you live, and that's totally welcomed, Oga. And I understand you are doing this for the interest of your tribesmen in Ghana. That is totally welcome. But please be reminded and be guided that Ghana is not the designation for your kingdom. That will be in Nigeria. You are at liberty to live within the confines of our laws and borders for as long as you would want. But that should be it, Oga. Our politicians may make promises to you and grant you access to certain high-profile meetings in the country, but we the people will see you for the foreigner that you are. As it stands now, there is no indication in any official government publication or credible Ghanaian website or media that suggests that your stool has been gazetted in Ghana. Let's leave it at that, Oga, and let's allow for Ghana to continue to live in the peace that we have. Thank you for watching, and hope this video finds its way to him, and hope to catch you in the next one. If today is your first time here, make today the day you subscribe to support this cause. God bless Ghana and all that dwell within. It's bye-bye for now.
First of all, this is the palace of the unrecognized Igbo king in Ghana. This is his palace, and this is just a snippet too. You came to somebody's country, a sovereign country, and you build this on somebody's land. Sorry, if this does not show you the intentions, or if this is not a statement of intent, I don't know what to tell you. Even bona fide chiefs in Ghana don't have this. Not that they don't have the money to put up this, they can do this, but they know the history. And then you come and then you build this with lions and come on. Oh, so this is Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, the Minister of Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Honorable, is this allowed in the folktale of the law, where another man will come to another man's country and build such a palace, calling himself king? Is he allowed for another person to come to Ghana and call himself king? Is he allowed, Honorable? Honorable, you are from the Bono region. How will you feel if this man put up such a palace in the Bono region? How do you think the chiefs will feel that another person is calling himself king of another tribe in Ghana? Honorable, you have to do something, because we the youth, we don't like this. You have to see him and tell him to change that thing, that king thing. Probably he can call himself the leader of the Igbo community. No one cares. But he calling himself a king is what we are not, is what we don't want to hear. So Honorable, you have to do something and stop that man. And to the people in the Volta region, just know that they have this sub-chief, this Igbo sub-chief in Volta region, you understand? I'll do a separate video about that. But Honorable, you really have to do something about this man calling himself king. And to the Nigerians saying that, you know, they have an Igbo king in every country. The only way I will stop talking about this, if you show me the Igbo king in North Korea. No, North Korea is too huge. If you show me the Igbo king in Syria, show me, and then I'll stop talking about it.
And looking at you as an Igbo king, that means you stand solely for the people of the Igbo land. Do you allow other tribes from other places like Nigeria and other places right here in Ghana to come to you for assistance just in case they need any?
Yeah, Jesus is the savior of the world, but he started from Israel. So the tribe that made me to sit where I am today is the Igbo tribe.
Yeah.
But remember that I'm a Nigerian. Igbo is inside Nigeria.
Yeah.
And every Nigerian, every Igbo man will believe so much in ourselves. As soon as you cross the border, you are not seeing like Igbo again, like Yoruba again, like Hausa again, but you see like a Nigerian. So the throne of the diaspora Igbo throne in Ghana is protecting Igbos, defending Igbos, projecting Igbos, defending Nigerians, projecting Nigerians, and all tribes in Nigeria. In extension, also support everybody that comes around us, irrespective of the country where you're coming from and the tribe where you're coming from.
Your Royal Highness, sir. Good afternoon, sir, or good evening, sir, or good morning, sir. Depends on your current occasion. Sir, please, I am calling your attention to a pressing matter regarding your kingship in Ghana. Ghanaians are calling for protest that they don't want any king, any foreigner to be a king in their country. Sir, please, this matter is going too far. So many hate species around. I've explained to them that you are just a king to your Igbo's community. But they said no. They said they don't want any king for Ghana. Sir, please, you need to hold a press conference to address this issue, sir. Because from Igbo king they are now turning the matter to Nigeria must go. So many hate speeches flying around, sir. Your Excellency, sir, please come and address this issue. If you can't hold the press conference, please try and grant interview with one of the top TV stations in Ghana to address this particular matter. Because the agitations that Ghanaians are pushing concerning this matter, I don't like it. Your Excellency, sir, please address this matter. This matter is going out of hand. They said nobody, no foreigner is permitted to be a king in their country. Whether you are ruling one person or whether you are ruling 10 people that they don't want it. Sir, please, you need to hold a press conference regarding this matter. God bless you, sir. And Ghanaians, you guys should take it easy. This matter will be settled amicably.
There's a news circulating on the internet about you that they said you've been bribed Ghana people for you to be inducted as Igbo chief here in Ghana. So we want to know the truth. Can you tell us what is going on?
Good afternoon. By the special grace of God, I'm the chief of Igbo community in Ghana. Is in Igbo Ghana. I have the same story. A lot of people have been calling me, sending me links from Ghana. It's called Amma Observer, and a certain guy also called Nitete speaking Ghana, and I'm speaking English. And I've been watching those links people have been sending to me. I ignore them. The reason why I ignore them is because what they're saying is never true. How come a blogger will sit down to say that Igbo king in Ghana bribed Ghana Traditional Council for them to induct Igbo Dastruan throne in Ghana? How can somebody who say that the Igbo chief in Ghana and all the Igbos are 419, that we used 419 system to bribe the council for them to induct us? First of all, that's a hate speech. Secondly, it's an insult to my person, the entire Igbo community and the entire Nigerians. Number three, she and Tete is saying what they don't know about. Number four is a hate speech that can even cause xenophobia. Number six, they are raising hatred from Ghanaians against Nigerians just because they think they can make money from YouTube and they're giving wrong information against Nigerians. I'm not a 419er. Igbos are not 419 people. Nigerians are not 419 people. If you are saying that Igbos are 419 people, what is the proof? If you say that Igbo king in Ghana and Igbo community in Ghana used 419 to manipulate the Ghana Traditional Council, what is the proof? Ghana Traditional Council inducted Igbo Ghana into the council by we performing the traditional rites, the traditional culture that will enable the induction. We did not give anybody bribe. We did not give anybody dime as a bribe. That is never true. So the information they are alleging against me and against Igbo people in Ghana, it is 100% fake.
They know if you find out. So today now, I want to talk about the Igbo king for Ghana. A lot of people don't tag me. People don't write essay. Who it is my DM? They tell me about all kinds of things. They educate me about the Ghanaian culture, the chieftaincy, and all those kind of things. I know say this is new to my Ghanaian brothers and sisters. But I want you to understand that the Igbo people always have a king wherever they go. We have a traditional king in Nigeria. We don't really there. We can't get any country they go. If you go China now, they get Igbo king for there. If you go South Africa, they get Igbo king for there. If you go America, they get Igbo king for there. You understand? Now they're in charge of to look after the Igbo community, just like a chief. You see that kind of thing, right? Me, I don't get problem with that one because it's a normal thing for them to get king. No problem. It's even good for them, you know. But my problem now be say the agenda why I hear saying they push, it no make sense to me. It no make sense at all. Okay, now you did for Ghana as a Igbo king. I can't hear say they say go buy acres of land, allegedly acres of land somewhere. You want to create Igbo communities for there. Why would you want to create Igbo community in a different country? You understand? You want to create Igbo community, right? You might as well go to Nigeria. That one's even cheaper. It's even easier for you. Pack your Igbo people and go to Nigeria and go and create the community there. If you go to that one for there, it's better. Because now, if you want to create the Igbo community now, why would you want to create Igbo community whereby only Igbos are there in a different country? What's the point of being in Ghana? You might as well go back to Nigeria now. You might as well move those people to Nigeria. You get my point? So, that's my point on that. The Ghanaian people should know that, yeah, the Igbo king, no be Ghanaian king. That's different thing. You understand? You as a Ghanaian, you don't have to go and be worshipping Igwe. No. The king is meant for the Igbo people. It's not for Ghanaian people. You don't have to go and give him extreme respect like the Igbo people are giving. Of course, give him the due respect he deserves. And as long as he gives that same respect back, it's okay. But you don't have to go and table matter to him. No. You see how the table matter to the Ghanaian authority, to the Ghanaian chiefs and kings and all of that, right? If they don't see that this matter will involve the Igbo people, if you go call the Igbo king, say, okay, say to your people they do. You understand? That's still supposed to be. But regardless, the Igbo people always have a king wherever they go. It's normal to them. You understand? So me now, I don't want to say they get Igbo king for Ghana safe. Because I don't want to say, the Igbo king they for Ghana. Now that age they come from Nigeria, they come do a shower for a year. What did this king they do about them? All this crime, what they happen now for Ghana? What did this king they do to stop all this crime? Like a community, I don't go build. That community is not necessary. It's not really important. It's not important at all. What is important is getting those underage back to Nigeria. It's stopping those underage from coming to Ghana. What system are we creating to stop that? They say we get African free trading area, African free trading zone, right? This is supposed to enable us at Africa. I'm going to travel within African countries. Go trade without paying tax, without paying for work permit and all of these things. But we are still paying for all of these things. What is this king doing about it? So there's a lot of matter on your table. The matter plenty for your table for the handle first before you come to the say young community. And the community, to me, is not really important. It's not necessary. It's not necessary. It is not necessary. Anyway, peace and love my Ghana Nigeria people. Yeah? Ghana Nigeria Presido. You know the what if you reach the end as usual. Comment Presido for comment section. Peace out my people.